Hey guys, welcome back. It's still the Christmas week here, so I'm putting out a few extra videos, more than I normally would, just because I've got a bit of free time off of work. So whenever I can, I put out a video, try and build the numbers up. If you guys can like and subscribe, I really appreciate it. I'm a new channel, so every like and subscribe counts as far as I'm concerned, and I always answer all the comments if anyone's got anything to say or any questions. Also, you can find my email in the bio, so if you want to send an email on anything personal, you got any questions on any of the stuff that I talk about, please send away. I work in ballistics, so if you guys have any questions on that and you want to talk ballistics, feel free to email as well. I'm more than happy to help. So today I'm going to cover a topic that keeps coming up quite a bit, which is the cost of items, especially in the tactical gear world, the outdoor gear world. So I'm going to take a bit of a look at expensive versus cheap items of a similar nature, and this will be the first in maybe a series of these expensive versus cheap, because you know there's some context to it. It's not always a simple answer, there's some nuance to that, and we'll hopefully get into a bit of that in this video. So I'm going to be looking at some backpacks or sling packs today. In fact, it's two messenger bags and two sling packs, so these are the type of thing that are dual use. Basically, you could use them for, you know, basic civilian stuff, you know, as bags taken around to the office or carrying stuff when you're going on your travels, and right through to the sort of bags that you might use in a tactical environment. You know, you might be carrying tactical kit in them, firearms, accessories, stuff for range, whatever. So they're all in the same style. You know, they've got mole options and plenty of pockets and all that kind of stuff, and the sort of colours you would expect to see in that tactical field. But the price points are way different. And one of the things with the price point is that you can kind of mix those two contexts, so you can end up with guys in the tactical realm. You know, I've met guys that are working in serious you know, positions. Maybe they're part of a sniper team or whatever, and you know, everyone assumes that these guys have like all the Gucci kit, and it's like something out of you know, a film like The Expendables or whatever, where they walk into these rooms and there's just like bundles of gear that they can pick from all the top manufacturers, and that just is not the case. A lot of these guys, you know, some of them have to buy their own kit if they want really Gucci kit, and a lot of the stuff they get given, if they're lucky to get given stuff at all, isn't always up to the job, and it can sometimes be you know, a bit battered and a bit substandard. The term mil-spec and mil-grade gets bandied around a lot. That doesn't necessarily mean, like people in YouTube think that means everything's amazing if it's mil-spec. That is not what mil-spec means. You know, it just means that that part or that thing has like a stock number, and it can be allotted into, you know, stores, or it's made up of a sum of parts that all have NATO stock numbers or military stock numbers, and that item has been selected probably in a large tender out of a load of other items that are similar from various different companies to be used by a military group. Now, in the selection process, like, we submit ammunition for these selection processes, and the scoring system is complex. It isn't always based around like whoever's got the best ammunition wins it, or whoever's got the best backpack wins it. That isn't the way it goes. You know, that a lot of the scoring on these is heavily weighted towards cost. So you might have something that's absolutely amazing, that's totally right for the job, but costs like 10 times more than the military actually want to pay for it. So that thing isn't going to make it through the tender. And then you might have things, you know, that are really cheap, and you know, they pass just about satisfactorily a lot of the more technical tests, you know, where they want to see if they're actually serviceable and stuff. They might have more chance of getting through. So it isn't a simple, you know, question. There's also in these tenders, there's all kinds of things about the company producing it. You know, especially if they're really large tenders, part of that tender might include things like, you know, how much money has the company got in the bank, how many tenders have they entered into before for this type of kit, how many countries do they supply with this type of kit, because the military that are buying it want to make sure they're buying off a company that can keep up with the expectation of you know, the supply of this stuff, because logistics is a huge part of these military and police as well, the same organisations that are looking to procure stuff en masse, and the stuff is really, really vital, and they can't afford to have companies saying, oh sorry, you know, we didn't have time to make it this month. So there's all kinds of things that go towards that thing being awarded the tender, and then that finally being designated as this mil-spec item that's made out of, you know, a variety of stock numbered items, or it is in itself just a singular stock numbered item. So think very carefully before you select stuff just based on the fact it's mil-spec. You might, maybe if you're looking at using stuff that the military use, try and talk to some of the guys that actually use the stuff before you do that, because they will give you a real clear answer on it. You know, they don't beat around the bush. If those guys are using stuff that's subpar, they will let you know all about it. And the same as if they got some kit that really works well, especially if they bought it or they've been lent it or whatever, you know, they'll give you a real simple answer to whether it works or not in some of the toughest conditions. So if you're lucky enough to be friendly with some guys that are serving, then, you know, pick their brains on the type of kit they use. So bags, start off with these two sling packs. So one of the most well-known brand names out there, Maxpedition. This is at the expensive end, not super expensive, because it can get really, really ridiculous. This is a jumbo Versipack, so it's a sling pack. You've got the sling there, it's like a crossbody pack. This back piece here undoes, and it's got a Velcro section in there. Now, I've got some bits and pieces in these bags, so the Velcro section in there is so you could stick on a holster and maybe conceal carry a pistol, maybe some mags in there. And then you've got buckle at the front, large main compartment inside, a little webbing pouch at the back, a smaller pouch at the front. This is all made from like a high denier ripstop type material. And then we've got another pouch at the front there, which again has got a couple of internal pouches, and it's got some loops which I've got tucked a load of tools in. This one I normally use as a range bag, a tool bag. It's got quick access Velcro mag carrier on the side, and it shows how old this is, because I think that here was like supposed to be a mobile phone carrier, which maybe back in the day you could have fitted a mobile phone in there. And then on the side you've got a pouch there. It's actually got my Ear Pro in it for the range. So it's a useful range bag. Originally I thought it might be useful for like a everyday carry type thing, but the downside to that is it's actually got quite a big sort of inlet there, the way it does up, so you can't completely do it up. So if it falls over, stuff falls out of it if you've got small stuff in there. So it's really, really good for like a like I use it for, you know, larger tools, large range accessories. So I keep like a butt bag for the rifle, and spare mags, toolkit in the front, maybe like your Kestrel, stuff like that. Any stuff that's big oh, there's a glasses pocket on the top, so I normally keep a pair of ballistic glasses in there. And then, you know, you just keep it in the back of the truck or whatever. When you get to the range, you pull it out, job done. So it's a pretty cool bag. It's very, very well made, and this is where we start getting into some of the differences between these things. Is that you can see the quality on this. The quality of the stitching is really, really high end. You know, everywhere where there's stitching attached, I mean, if you look on the back, the padding is stitched on really nicely, and the fact that it's got padding, it's lasted a long time. That padding has a mesh weave to it, so it lets in a bit of air if it's sat up against your body. So there's a little bit more thought that's gone into it for long-term wear. It's not as simple as just a bag. They have put in some extra thought process there, and it's nice and strong on the bottom. I think it's double layered on the bottom, and all in all, it's been really robust. I think at the time this cost about 140, 150 pounds, somewhere around that price. So not crazy expensive, but it's, you know, it's getting up there. And would I buy it again? Yeah, probably, if I wanted a range type bag. The only thing that slightly bugs me is that if you wanted quick access to that, just to dip your hand in and out whenever you felt like it, then that's a great benefit. But if you want a bag that the main compartment is very, very you know, sealed in, that things aren't going to be able to fall out if it falls upside down or anything, it's probably not the bag for you. But good quality, really high quality. So then we go to the kind of cheap version. So this one here, I'll throw a link up. It's an Amazon special, and I think it was called G4free, if I remember rightly. Like, I'll put a link up. The patches, don't worry, it's not Surefire. I'll just chuck that on there to make it look half decent. So a slightly more secure style of pack, and I would add that the unfortunate thing about a lot of these is the Chinese companies that make them have just pillaged the design from people like Maxpedition. I know there's loads and loads of Maxpedition clones out there, and I'm sure this is a clone of, you know, something along those lines. And it's kind of a shame because they've avoided doing any of the R&D, and they're just, you know, sitting on the coattails of someone else who's actually had to invest all that. So that's one reason you're going to see a price difference, is that all they've done is reverse engineer something that they've bought. So you've got a front pouch there, which I've got my wallet in, and then a few bits and bobs there in the front, a Swiss Army knife and various bits. And it has got a couple of large elasticated loops in there, and they're maybe big enough for an AR mag, maybe. There'll be a tight fit. And then you've got another pocket in the front of that bag there, which is handy. I keep my receipts and a bit of spare change and stuff in there. You've got a little sort of bungee assembly on the front, just in case you wanted to stick something in there, like a little roll mat or whatever. And then I've just clipped a little mini O-light on there, just for a handy thing. And that is actually really useful to have that, because I carry this around at the moment every day, and that just comes straight off, magnetic, and then switches itself off. So handy little thing to have on there. The bag didn't come with this side compartment. This thing is a mole pouch that I had laying around. So you can see on the other side of the bag, it has this mole up the side. So I just attached that pouch because the bag was just a little small. I needed a place to put gloves and sunglasses and stuff like that. So they go in this side pouch here, but that does not come with the bag. In the back, I've got a Leatherman stuck in the top there. And then again, it's got this mesh effect, but not as nice a quality. This is like a rubber mesh. It's not like a breathable mesh that we saw on the Maxpedition. And the stitching is, I mean, I've got to say, the stitching is still pretty good. It's not up to the standard of the Maxpedition, but it is pretty good. I mean, you know, it's definitely been done on a decent commercial machine. The material quality is reasonable. It's got a rivet popper on the back, and then you can access that, which actually holds this piece here, which comes out, and that is your slingpack belt, which can click either side, there or there, so you can choose to carry it whichever side you wish. I normally keep that folded away and tuck it back down in there, just so I can carry the bag around without that great big piece of webbing hanging off. It's a strong bit of webbing. I'm not, the rings are pretty strong. I mean, they're all made out of polymer, but I don't think the actual links on there are massively strong. On the back, nice little touch. It's got a little Velcro loop on there, so you could actually sling this pack and then fasten that to the belt on your waist if you wanted to stop it flapping around. So nice touch. Again, probably stolen off of whoever invented this thing in the first place. It's got a couple more loops up there, so you could actually attach that strap in a different way and carry the bag kind of from the top to the top, or from the top to the bottom, so you could wear it like cross body, you know, or you could wear it slung around the back, or you could have it hanging right down. The choice is yours. And then we've got a main compartment in there, which has a bit like the Maxpedition, a back compartment and a small front compartment, and in there I normally stick phones and wallets and keys and whatever I've got hanging around. I've got normally a notepad in there. I've got a pair of chopsticks because I always forget to bring cutlery with me, and if you run out of cutlery and you're trying to eat meals on the go, at least you've got a pair of chopsticks in there. It's got water holes on the bottom. Maxpedition's got those as well, so if you did get this thing full of water, then it would just leach out of there. And again, double sewn on the bottom. So on the, if I was picking this thing apart, like the mole straps aren't quite lined up, so these can be a bit of a tight fit to get your mole equipment on. So this one here, you know, it took me a while to loop that mole through, because mole sort of goes in and out of the webbing to make it nice and secure. Once it's on there, it's good, but you can see on there, you know, this piece is long, that piece is a bit shorter, so they just haven't quite sewn it evenly. But the zips are reasonable quality. They're not as good as the Maxpedition. Sometimes when I'm doing these up and I'm trying to lean over and do it one-handed, you know, it does that. It just catches on the corner and you kind of have to give it a bit of a pull. This one, not so bad because it's all rounded, so you can undo that one-handed, and then handle on the top, nice and secure. And having a look at that, it's well sewn. It doesn't seem to be pulling away at all. And this thing's about a year old now. Now, I paid about £35 for this, and actually you can start to see in there, there's a little bit of lining sewn in this thing. So on a lot of these cheaper bags, either you don't get any lining in them at all, so it's just the Hydenia material, and the lining that they do put in is really cheap plasticky lining, which tends to start cracking and fading a bit, like I've just shown you on the corner there. Yeah, it was like £35. I think you can still get them around the same price. I'll chuck an Amazon link up. In the context of use, you know, one, I would take to the range and kind of kick it around the range and subject it to all forms of weather and know that it was still going to be in decent shape after years of use. This one is more of a kind of man bag that I'm going to use in, you know, in like town situations where I just want something to keep all my stuff in the car. So when it sits next to me in the car generally, so if I need something out of it, my wallet, my glasses or whatever, it's all in one place. I'm not fiddling about in various parts of my car trying to look for these things. I can just reach over, grab something out of there. And then same at home, I stick that on the table, because at home it's always a nightmare if you've got bits dotted around all over the place. People in the house are picking them up, tidying them up. Everyone, you know, knows, leave my bag alone. There's my stuff. I know where it is, and I can just get stuff out of it when I want. I can always find my keys in the morning. My wallet's always in there. So job done. For that purpose, it's great. And for that price, for £35, you know, if it lasts a year to 2 years and then it starts going a bit funny at the seams or whatever, I can replace it. So there's no point in me, if I had endless money, I would buy everything high end, but you have to look at the context of what you're actually going to be doing with that thing. You know, I'm not fast roping down the side of a building wearing this bag, and the bags that are in the £200 to £300 range maybe are sold with that in mind, you know, that they might be designed for people taking on those sort of tasks. So I just don't need that level of durability for this particular type of bag. And then very similar on the Messenger front. So on this one, an Amazon special again, GES. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets on the front, zip pocket down there, 2 small velcros and 1 large velcro, which also has a buckle on the front there, and that serves probably as a decent sized mag pouch if you were using it as a range bag. And then inside the front there we've got some backing panel which has a large pocket in the rear, and then various different pockets at the front, and that would be handed, or when I was using this, it was really handy for, you know, keeping your notepads, pens, stuff like that. So you've obviously got this large part here, 2 pockets back here, and then another larger document pocket back there. And then at the back, so this is designed to fit a 15.6 inch laptop, so voluminous space in there, and a separator in the middle, and the separator is just held onto the bottom by 2 velcros, so you can take that separator out if you wish. And then at the back we've got another flap there which undoes and is basically handy for documents. You know, if you're going to the airport and you wanted to have your passport there for quick, easy access. The zips on this thing are actually pretty decent. Nice thick zips. They don't struggle at all. This top piece zips down like so, so that seals completely, and then velcros at the end, so it should stop most light rain getting in there. And then, like our other cheapo, we've got these polymer little clips here, which again don't look massively strong. You know, I wouldn't want to be doing any like Tom Cruise type stunts using those to swing off the side of a building, and they're attaching to polymer pieces on here. You've also got attachment points each side of the top and then at the bottom as well. So you've got various options to attach that thing, and you've got 2 carrying handles which will fasten together with that Velcro band in the middle. This can also lock across, so that Velcro strap there will actually lock across the top, and then you can pull that tight just to cinch everything down and give yourself a bit of added security. Now, at the time I bought that, I bought it just for taking a laptop to and from work. That was about £50. They've now gone up to about £70. I'll chuck the link up. Even for £70, it's actually not bad at all. In terms of quality, it's good quality for, you know, considering it's kind of a non-brand name. I've certainly seen you know, bags out there that are in the like £20 to £30 range, the Messenger type bags that are awful quality, and you know, I wouldn't even want to risk putting a laptop in some of them. This has got some padding in it. The laptop piece is all padded, so I feel pretty happy that if you were to drop that from a walking height, you're not going to ruin your laptop. So all in all, a decent bag. It's certainly not super high end. You know, you can tell that a lot of the, like the front pocket and stuff, isn't lined. So that's just, again, the denier of the material. It's not going to be waterproof. It's going to be resistant to light rain, I would say. And then in the same bag sort of style, we've got this from Hazard4. They've got newer versions of this now. I think this is their older version. So we've got a very cool little patch on the front there from South Park. So we open up and we've got large pouch at the front with multiple, we've got one large pouch within that pouch, in fact 2 large pouches within that pouch at the back, with 1, 2, 3 small pouches for documents, notebooks, things like that. And then we've got some webbing as well, so a lot of options in there. And then we've actually got sewn in there as well a little document holder, so if you had a name tag or something in case the bag got lost and you wanted to be able to get it back, you could put your details in that. And then in the back, that's the computer part, again for a 15.6 inch, and this one is really well padded. And then right at the back, a zip pocket, which again is just a straight pocket for, I've got a few cables and stuff like that. You've got the attachment points here, a lot bigger, a lot better quality. Says on there UTX Flex, which I'm guessing is some half decent brand if Hazard4 are using them. And then a nice padded strap on that one. So that's what I use currently to carry the computer around in, and obviously it's got some Mole compatibility. It's got some straps here that you can fasten up and cinch this whole thing up, and you can also use them if you wanted to tighten them up and put something in there, maybe stick a water bottle in there and grip that. But all in all, high quality. You can see webbing all over it, and that webbing is obviously going to give it a lot of strength, so it's not going to be pulled apart. And that is the kind of bag that you could do some heavy duty work with, and it would still be in one piece at the end. I would imagine that I could hang my weight off of that thing and not be too concerned about it breaking. Cost of those, generally they're about $220 to $270 depending on which one you get, so they're not cheap. You know, they're maybe £200 more than the GES version. So you've got to think, you know, do you really need a bag that's they're probably both going to keep your laptop in reasonable condition if you were to drop the bag. The question then remains, you know, do you really need that level? Because the GES will still keep your laptop safe and it will be a functional bag. This Hazard4, it, you know, takes it to another level that, like I say, you could literally hang off the thing. So in the context of that, yes, it's a better bag. Yes, it costs a lot more money. You're obviously paying for the high quality. You can tell the quality of it as soon as you get your hands on it. I would argue that I personally don't need a bag of that performance value. I happen to have it because someone I know was getting rid of that and replacing it, and we kind of done a deal, so I got it at a reasonable price. Would I go out and buy one if it was like £270 brand new? I probably wouldn't. Is it nice to have? Yes, and I totally understand there's people out there that just want nice kit, because if I bought the £70 one, I would be replacing it in 2 to 3 years. If I bought the Hazard4 one, you could probably carry that for 10 or 15 years, and as long as you know, kept it clean and didn't kick it around on the floor every day, it would be totally reasonable to use it for that long. So with that argument, I've heard this argument before, you know, I can pay £70 every 2 years, or I can just pay £270 and I can still have it in 10 years, so I've actually saved money. And I do kind of agree with that as well. You know, it's all about how much money you've got expendable at the time. Not everyone's got huge amounts to lay out and then look at like a long period of time as an investment sort of opportunity or a money saving opportunity. Some people, they just have to budget what they can, you know, for that year or for that month, and they might only have £50 or £70 spare, so it's perfectly reasonable. Amazon is a great place if you're wanting to spend only a small amount of money, because you can go through all the reviews, and after a while you get kind of used to which reviews are sensible, and there's clearly some that, you know, the company have just paid like 5 people to stick stupid reviews up, you know, all falsely claiming that this thing's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But generally speaking, you know, you can find things that have hundreds of reviews on there. I don't believe most companies have the time or the inclination to get that many people to review their product, and it's pretty clear from the way they're written that a lot of them are not affiliated to the company in any way. So at least you can pick out the best of what would be a cheap bunch, and generally speaking, doing that, you can find a pretty good deal. So no good, no bad, just depends on your context, depends on your budget, and I don't think you could lose with any of these options, to be honest. Thanks a lot, take care guys, I'll speak to you soon.